So far in this unit, we have looked at synthesis reactions, in which you take two particles, two elements or two compounds, and you combine them together to form one. We've looked at decomposition reactions, in which one compound decomposes into either two or three different compounds or elements. We've looked at single replacement, in which one element kicks out another element that was in a compound. So you get a brand new compound and one new element all by itself. And now we're going to look at double replacement reactions, in which you have a little do-si-do, a switching of partners. So I'm going to show just the generic equation for a double replacement reaction. I'll show you two examples, and then you guys will get working on the rest of the problems. So if I start out and I've got my first element A, followed by my second element B, and I add to that and I have it react with a second compound C, D. They're going to switch partners. Now they switch partners in a very specific manner. Remember, your positively charged ion, which is A and C in this case, because it always goes first, A and C, they're going to switch partners. So A is going to go with D and C is going to go with B. Remember, a positive ion goes with a negative ion. Okay, so what I like to say, instead of trying to figure that out just by looking at it, I say innies and outies go together. So A will go with D, and C, which is an innie, goes with B. A and D are outies, C and B are innies. So A is going to form a compound with D, and C is going to form a compound with B. Now the reason why I wrote it in this order, A is your positively charged ion, C is your positively charged ion. Remember, they have to go first. Alright? In order to form these compounds, in order to form A, D, and C, B, you must cross your charges. So as you're doing this, as you're switching partners, make sure you cross your charges. So I'm going to do the first two example problems for you, and then you are going to do number 1 and number 2 for homework without my help. So this will be your homework. I will first do the first two example problems for you. So for this problem, I've got two different compounds, so I know it's going to be a double replacement reaction. Ag is an outie, so it's going to switch partners to form a new compound with Cl, and potassium is going to form a new compound with NO3. Okay. Ag is going to go with Cl, as I said, but before I can finish writing this, I need to make sure I cross my charges properly. Ag has a +1 charge, it's one of my exceptions. Cl has a -1 charge. So when I cross my charges, I end up with just AgCl. Then I'm going to combine potassium, K, with NO3. Now, potassium, K, has a +1 charge. Nitrate, NO3, has a -1 charge. So when I cross my charges, I've already got it crossed. KNO3 looks great. I am also balanced, so I'm done with this problem. For the next one, I'm going to combine Mg and NO3 together. Those are my outies. And then I'm going to combine H with OH. Now, something that a lot of students confuse. When I'm combining these, it doesn't matter how many of each of these I have. We just care about the identity of the element, not how many you have. So here I'm combining Mg and NO3. Here I'm combining hydrogen, H, with OH. I'm not combining it with OH2, so don't let the two confuse you. It's just H and OH. So first I'm going to combine Mg and NO3. So I'm going to write this out first. Those are my outies, Mg, NO3. And remember, guys, the way that I write these, my products, doesn't matter. I could write KNO3 first, followed by AgCl, so the order does not matter. Alright, so I've got MgNO3. Now, before I can move on, I need to make sure I've crossed my charges. Magnesium has a +2 charge. Nitrate has a -1 charge, so I must cross my charges properly. So it's going to be MgNO3 2. Then my inis, I've got H and OH. Hydrogen has a +1 charge, OH has a -1 charge. So I'm going to write HOH. I'm going to write HOH right here because that's not going to be my final answer. HOH, I cross my charges. All right. If you notice, HOH, I've got 2 hydrogens, so I can rewrite this, and you should rewrite this as H2O. All right. So notice for the first example problem, I've got just 2 brand new ionic compounds that are being formed, AgCl and KNO3. I crossed my charges for both. For the second example problem, Mg and NO3 form an ionic compound, MgNO3 and then when you've got hydrogen and OH here, you actually form water. Now, just to let you know, this is an acid-base reaction. MgOH2 is a base, HNO3 is an acid. So when you have a base and an acid form, what you're actually forming is water, H2O, and a salt, an ionic compound, MgNO3. So that's just something to keep in mind. Whenever you see a base and an acid together, you're going to be forming water, but rather than trying to memorize it, just keep in mind the fact that you're just combining outies with inis. Okay? So complete number 1 and 2 for homework, and then we'll go over the answers in class together.